So we have another fan question from Justin Andrews. I think I'm going to take the lead on this one, being a Cowboys fan. Um, First, we got to compose ourselves. Uh, he asks if we still have the Cowboys winning the NFC East with Dak being hurt. Originally, it was thought that he was going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, but after the surgery, there is optimism that it could be 4 to 6 around there. Jerry Jones hoping after 4 games that he could be back. I think that's a little too positive. I think it would be around 5 to 6, which I mean is better than 6 to 8, so I'll take that. But even if Dak was healthy, that game was just that was just an absolute embarrassment as a Cowboys fan. Being the only team to not score a touchdown in the entire NFL, that is awful. The wide receivers, I'm going to put this nicely, looked like crap. The O-line also looked like crap, and the entire offense outside of the opening drive looked awful. The defense did their part. They held Tom Brady to field goals. He didn't score. Well, he scored one touchdown, and we could have easily won that game if the offense played up to par, and clearly they didn't. So even before Dak's injury, I was nervous. I was saying that this is going to be a rough season. I did not like what I was seeing, and even if Dak was healthy, I would have to change my NFC East pick to either the Eagles or the Commanders with the way that we played week one. And now that Dak is injured, I don't see us having a chance to win the NFC East. Like there's a slim chance, but I see it as slim to none given how hard our schedule is. And Dak being hurt this early does not help that. We play the Rams, the Bengals, uh teams like that, top teams like that. We also played the Washington Commanders and the Eagles. So if we lose those two, that are already puts us down to third most likely. Uh, Assuming the Giants don't win more games than they have already. So it's going to be a rough season, and I think that now that Dak is hurt, that we do not win the NFC East. I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles will win the NFC East because they looked really good week one.
For me, I think there still is a possibility that the Cowboys win the division. The Dak injury hurts them to lock it in. But I think at this point it comes down to Ezekiel Elliott. If he can come back and become some kind of form of Ezekiel Elliott from 3 years ago, I think they still have a chance to win the division since that division is just so weak in the NFL. But I would not be shocked now if they don't win it as well. I personally like the Commanders. I think they could come out on top of that division. So, yeah.
So what was the question?
Do you think the Cowboys still win the NFC East?
Do I believe that? No. Did I believe that before? Somewhat. Do I still have the Giants coming out? For sure. What Dallas did.
Tripping. Huh? Who said that?
All right. So what Dallas did, right, was show you guys and executed a terrible game. It was probably almost as bad, although the Broncos scored, right? They had an awful game as well. They didn't really look what we thought they were going to look like. And really the Cowboys, they really just showed us what they weren't. Dak Prescott obviously got injured, but before that he had 134 yards, one interception. Ezekiel Elliott, for him and Saquon to be called possibly one of the best or both the best in the league right now, right? Zeke only had 52 yards and 10 carries.
I will say though, that was a majority in the first half, and we got away from the run, which is another thing that we can talk about.
And at the same time, I believe Saquon had 18 carries, 160 something yards.
I think it was 162, yeah.
162, 18 carries, something like that. And he also had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Really, Zeke's got to bring up his game. You know, he was talking how he's gotten better, how he's ready to play again, and he just didn't show it. Obviously, play calling, does have a factor in that. But for Zeke to be a leader, he's got to, come out and say things, right? Because if things are working, you got to keep with it. And obviously, Zeke didn't say that last night or 2 nights ago, right? And I think it cost them the game. They need a leader on that team, and they don't have one right now.
I agree, except with everything about Zeke, because I blame the play calling more than I do Zeke. You can't, I mean, yeah, you can suggest that they run it more, but it's at the end of the day, it's up to the coordinator and the coach. And clearly, they did not want to run the ball, and they should have ran the ball more because he was averaging 5.2
Right.
yards per carry. I'm not sure why we got away from that. He looked like his rookie self from what I saw in the first half, and then we got away from it in the second half for who knows what reason, and it led to the offense looking stagnant because, like I said, we have no receivers right now outside of CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is just getting triple teamed, so you can't throw to him.
So here's the thing for me, right? To come back with you at Zeke, if he does show you 5 point something yards per carry, right? Shows you the efficiency, shows you how they're, benefiting on the run game more than the passing game, right? There's no way the coordinator can deny you that you should run the ball more.
Well, that's on the coordinator though. Kellen Moore, I loved him in year one, but he's just regressed the past
So,
2 years, and
so
that's
why
what
wouldn't right?
I,
So why wouldn't Zeke call him out? Why wouldn't Zeke go after him?
I
Go
mean,
after
you can't.
McCarthy?
You can't do that because then the coach has the power to just bench you. You don't want to take that risk.
I believe that Zeke does have the power. He, like we said, he is one of the best running backs in the game right now. If you are not running one of the best running backs in the game, your job's on the line.
Yeah, their jobs are on the line 100%,
Right.
and they've been on the line ever since they got here.
And that's why they need to run the ball. If they don't run the ball, and we see this efficiency, right, especially in the first half of one game, and you don't do it in the second half of the game, it just shows you these guys either don't know what they're doing,
They don't.
right, or
I'm
have
standing
a
by that.
totally different belief system in their quarterbacks or in their backup quarterback. So
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. I'm not a fan of McCarthy or Moore. I strongly believe that McCarthy should have been fired in the offseason, and I regret that we kept him. But that's not our decision. Obviously, that's up to the coaches and the general manager, Jerry Jones, who's also another person who I'm getting sick of. But that's another topic for another day. I'm just gonna say the reason I say the division is slim. The reason I say that our chances of winning the division are now slim to none is because that offense looked like the worst offense I've ever seen as a Cowboys fan, and I've been a fan for my entire life. So to say that is saying something, and we still don't have Michael Gallup until possibly week 4, maybe longer, and James Washington's out 6 to 8 weeks. And if we have no receivers, no matter who our quarterback is, we have no shot for the first at least 6 weeks. I would say.
I agree with you. I would also say that it's more on the quarterback, right? Especially if you don't have a quarterback, you can have all the weapons in the world. We saw that with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have all the weapons in the world. You don't really have a quarterback. He can't get you the ball, right? And to produce. So that's one aspect of why the Cowboys will not win the division, in my opinion. If Zeke comes back and plays outstanding, or not Zeke, if Dak comes back week 6, what was it, week 6, week 7? Something like
Around
that.
there, yeah.
Right? If he comes back and plays outstanding, plays at an MVP caliber, like everyone thought he was going to this year, and you guys end up getting maybe 10 wins, if that, I still think you guys can win the division because that division, as we know, has won in the past with a losing record. So I fully believe you guys can win the division at 10 wins. But at the same time, you guys would have to catch up to the Eagles, right? Because they played fantastic. A.J. Brown was amazing. So was Jalen Hurts. You also had the Commanders and Carson Wentz. And if he stays healthy, that team can go anywhere. So
Yeah, I still think we can get 10 wins, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to win the division because like you said, the Commanders and Eagles both looked very good in week 1. I know it's week 1, but those are very high teams from what I saw.
also, I know you don't want to hear it. The Giants, okay? Hear me
I
out.
think personally, I think the Giants won because the Titans played bad. That's my opinion.
Or the Giants fought. The Giants always fight. That's what they're known for. They'll fight even when they're terrible, right? They will not quit. They will fight till the end of the game. And that's what happened last game, right? And they ended up winning that game because they fought so hard. And they can withstand a fight with any team, I think. It just depends on, is that team going to fight harder? So
That's true. But Saya, what do you got to say?
So you guys are talking about 10 wins not being enough.
no, 10 wins being enough.
I don't think it will be enough because I see after week 1, I see the Eagles at least getting 12 wins.
And I personally think 10 wins will be enough in that division. So where is your thought process on this?
I think you're crazy if you think 10 wins is not enough to win the division. I know the Eagles look good and all, but even then, look who they were playing. Like, I'm not really worried about that. And then the Commanders, too, they looked well. But look who they were playing. So I think the competition was, you guys had the toughest matchup in the division, week 1.
In any division?
No, just in their division,
Okay,
out of the 4
okay.
teams.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you guys did well for the most part. I agree with you that the offensive coordinator could have done better, knowing that Dak was out, feed Zeke the ball more. But I think if you guys can rally up 9 wins, even, I think you guys could lock up the division. Because I don't see the Eagles getting that much. And as high as I am on the Commanders, I think they're top. Their like max potential is 8 wins.
I personally think they'll be both teams will be better than that, but we'll have to see what happens.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think if Cooper Rush can get us at least 3 wins in his stint, because I think he loses to the Bengals. He has a shot against the Giants. I'll say he has a shot. He could beat the Giants depending on which Giants team shows up. Like Gio said, they either fight hard or they look awful. So we'll see what Giant team shows up there. But I think we have a shot on that game. We also have a shot against the Commanders, but I think that he could lose. He's going to lose to the Rams. I'd say he has a shot against the Eagles, and then if he has to play against the Lions, he definitely has a shot against them as well. So if he can get us at least 3 wins, I think we'll be in good shape for when Dak comes back.
I'd agree with that too. I think 3 wins would be ideal. I think 2 wins, you're hopeful.
Right.
And then 1 win, I think it's looking tough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got to say, Gio?
Nothing really. I agree with you guys. I think maybe 1 win at most, right? Like you said, the Bengals, right? And then really the Giants is a toss-up right now. I was saying the Giants could win the division and possibly win a game against the Cowboys, but really I didn't think anything like this would happen, right? Realistically. So I honestly think the Giants have it in the bag, especially since Saquon played so well, right? Danny didn't look too bad, but he could have been better. So there's adjustments needed to make be there. But the momentum, right? Winning that 1 game for the Giants is like winning the Super Bowl for them right now, at least. And they got a taste of victory, and they just want more. So
I think they're going on a losing streak, but that's just me.
all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
But yeah, I also see a losing streak coming up. I think they had a good week 1, but even then, they should have lost.
100%.
So you want to get into that game real quick?
Sure, go ahead, Gio. I know you have some thoughts.
So for the Steelers and the Bengals, right? What are your guys' thoughts on the game? That's what I want to know real quick.
It shouldn't have gone into overtime. One, the Steelers should have won in regulation,
Right.
but the Steelers defense won them that game. It was not the Steelers offense. For those who did not watch the game, you forced Joe Burrow to throw 4 interceptions and have a fumble. One of the best quarterbacks, one of the top quarterbacks in the league, to have 5 turnovers. The
Just what you
defense
said.
100% won them that game.
Yep. That's why you guys were so high on the Chargers defense, right? I haven't seen that Chargers defense play yet. I knew exactly what I was getting into with that Steelers defense. The thing about it is, like we said before, they're going to get gassed, right? If they have to be on the field that much, we saw in that game, they started getting gassed. Injuries started to happen, obviously. Unfortunate, TJ Watt went down with a pectoral. Was it a tear? Right?
No, it was not a tear. Well, he did tear it, but he didn't tear the tendon.
Right, yeah. So he doesn't need surgery. It's going to be around 6 weeks, and then he'll come back and play. Thing about it is, for the Steelers, they played great in overtime, right, for the most part, where their defense without TJ Watt was amazing. I think we can withstand 2-3 wins possibly in the next 4 or 5 games just because of our defense alone. If Mitchell Trubisky can start getting into rhythm, right, start figuring out his pieces, because he only really targeted two players that entire game for the most part, in Freemouth and
Deontay Johnson.
yes. And Claypool needs to be targeted more. Pickens needs to be targeted more. Pickens, I believe, only had 1 touch, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Pickens had 1 catch for 3 yards.
Right. So that offense needs to, be on the field more. Obviously, just like Jake said, the last 2 minutes of the game in regulation, Steelers had the ball after making an amazing defensive play, stopping the Bengals at the 1-yard line. They needed to run the ball. They needed to keep the offense on the field. Usually when the 2-minute marker hits, you call that game, right? For the most part, if you're up in the game and you have the ball. Unfortunately, the Steelers got rid of that ball. So the offense needs to play better, especially down the crunch, so that the defense can get rest and stay off the field to prevent injuries leading forward.
Yeah. I could see you guys honestly going on a 3-game winning streak. You guys play the Patriots,
Yep.
the Steelers. No, you guys play Patriots, the Browns, and then the Jets. I could see those 3 all being wins, given with how bad the Patriots played last week, or or how good the Dolphins defense played. Since, say, as a Dolphins fan, we'll see his thoughts on that in a few minutes. But the Patriots offense looked awful, so I think you guys have a better defense than the Dolphins that will even be able to shut them out, possibly. So I could see you guys starting 4-0, like Saya said,
Right.
In the previous podcast. If you haven't watched those, you guys can go check those out.
Yes, sir.
But then it does get a little tough because you guys play the Bills, the Bucks, the
Right.
Dolphins, and then it gets harder and harder from there.
I say we beat the Dolphins, though, for sure.
Nope.
No, I disagree.
I fully agree that we would probably beat the Dolphins. Yes, the Dolphins defense is amazing, and I was shocked on how amazing that defense was, right? There's no Steelers defense. Minkah Fitzpatrick is not on the Dolphins. He is on the Steelers, right? Hopefully Hayward, nothing bad really happened to him because he did leave the game at the end of it. Hopefully he comes back. He'll be ready. At the same time, Najee Harris, he'll be ready to run that ball, right? And then obviously we got our great receiving core, right? That quarterback, hopefully at that time we do start Pickett, right? And he'll just throw the ball. So
Yeah, I see you guys being 4-0 after these first 4 weeks, and then going on a 3-game losing streak and being 4-3, and then potentially Pickett could start week 8. I'll say.
Facts. Although y'all are going 4-0, see, I'm very high on Mitch and these Steelers. But after all this Dolphin slander, let me just become a hater real quick. So the Steelers realistically should have lost that last game.
why? Tell me why.
Well,
Because how
because you
often
literally
do you
you let the Bengals back in the game,
Okay, so letting
and
an amazing quarterback score? How do you
no,
let an amazing quarterback score?
You didn't let him score. You let Jamar Chase score. You played 15 yards back off him.
There are also some questionable calls before that, I will say.
Okay,
Before that
but
touchdown.
there was also missed kicks in the overtime that the Bengals could have won with.
For
Even
sure.
with
But once you block it, go ahead.
How often is Minka going to block that kick that you're about to talk about?
How
Number
often?
one, number one, that's not even Minka. That's just awful blocking by the Bengals
No,
kicking
that is,
line.
I will say that is all Minka. Why? The adrenaline, the anger after getting that play called against him, getting that flag, right?
Minka wasn't even blocked. That's an easy block for anyone who's not blocked.
But Minka forced that.
Yeah, because he wasn't blocked. Anyone could block that.
Minka had a great game, but you can't ask that of him every time to win you those games.
Not every time, but I will say more often than not, I'm putting my faith in Minka Fitzpatrick. Last year, he stopped plenty of games, right? Or the year before that, right? I believe it was a close game against the Ravens where he stopped Lamar Jackson from getting a touchdown. A couple other games where he's gotten interceptions and stopped the game, right? So Minka Fitzpatrick is that guy, right? And I have more faith in him winning us the game than the defense losing us that game.
But I would also say Miami's defense is way better because
Why?
we ate on them Patriots.
Okay.
And we're not even healthy yet. We still got Byron Jones out.
Yeah.
We had Nick Needham playing in that game. Miami should have lost that game if the Patriots just threw that ball towards Nick Needham the whole time.
Okay.
But Mac Jones is a low IQ quarterback. And when Kenny Pickett's playing Miami, as you say,
That's right.
he's not going to have this like NFL football IQ where he's going to be making the right reads, right throws. And then Javon Holland might walk out this game with a pick. Xavier Howard's going to have two. Byron Jones probably going to get torched, but
The one thing I will say though is the Steelers. I still think the Steelers defense is better than the Dolphins. The Steelers played a top tier quarterback.
Right.
The Dolphins played a
Who just went to
mediocre,
the Super Bowl.
mediocre quarterback at best. So I'm not going to put this. I'm not going to grade the Dolphins defense off of one game. I'm going to need them to see it. I'm going to need to see them do it consistently, as the Steelers have for years. So I'm going to need to wait and see them play a top tier quarterback and stop them, such as the Josh Allen.
hold up. Let's not start disrespecting Miami's defense like that. We saw 2 seasons ago they were the top leading scoring defense in the league. Miami's been on this for years defensively.
Yes, defense. Yes, I would agree on that. I'm just saying we have the reigning defensive player of the year before he got hurt, killed that game. Minka Fitzpatrick killed that game, right? And then you have Hayward, right next to TJ. All these guys on that defense are stars, okay? You just named all your stars. That entire defense for the Steelers are stars.
I didn't name all our stars. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got Jerome Baker, who I didn't even start talking about yet.
Javon Holland.
Upcoming linebackers in the league. You pair him alongside Melvin Ingram,
Yep.
who's an experienced, very good pass rushing defender.
Yep.
And then you want me to start talking about this D line. Oh my God. I see you guys have more names to your defense.
Right. Well, we
have
made
more
them.
depth.
They became names in Pittsburgh, so
Minka was one of the best safeties in Miami too. Come on now.
true.
TJ Watt made a name for himself. Pittsburgh didn't make him his name.
I'm saying they made their name in Pittsburgh for the most part.
Right.
But I will agree with Minka. Yeah, yes. On the Dolphins, he was pretty solid. So
But yeah. But I also think Miami's offense would be too much for that defense compared to Miami's defense on the Steelers' offense.
So let's see this real quick. Do you think it's going to be a low-scoring game, though? You think it's going to be all defense?
No.
You think you're going to light us up? Is that what you think?
Yes. And by light you up, I mean 31 points.
Oh, 31 points.
How much
31
touchdown?
points.
How much touchdowns is Tyreek having?
Tyreek's got 1.
Waddle got
Tyreek
one
is
too.
0.
Waddle's got 2.
Waddle got 2. Okay.
So
Okay.
the defense has 2 touchdowns as well. Nope, 1 touchdown. And then we kick a field goal.
Gio, your response?
You know what? What week is this?
This is gonna be week 2.
No. Week for the Dolphins game against the Steelers.
Oh, I think it's gonna be week 7. I think.
Week 7.
Yeah.
Right. In week 7, we will see what happens. Right now, I'm not gonna say anything because I'm gonna let it happen, and then we're gonna come on to the next podcast after that game, and then I will talk. I will watch that game. I'll see what happens. I'll see Minka, pick off Tua. I would see Hayward sack Tua. I will see Jalen Waddle sit on the bench in disbelief. I will see Tyreek Hill requesting a trade because he's not getting enough points. He's not getting enough touches. The Pittsburgh Steelers will make that Miami Dolphins team look like the Miami Dolphins. That's all I got to say.
10:33 p.m. September 13th, 2022. Another Gio Hail Mary.
I will come in here and I'll come in here and I'll be like, Gio, did you see my boy Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, and Emmanuel Agba get a sack each?
Yes, I will say that. Yeah, that will happen.
Jalen Phillips as well, coming out from the outside linebacker position.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because our offensive line sucks.
You also know why? Because Mitch Trubisky's going to be starting. Kenny Pickett will not be starting. I'm sorry, he's not starting until after this game, in my opinion.
Right.
So Trubisky holds onto the ball a lot longer than he should, and that's another reason why he's going to get sacked 3 times.
I feel like our offensive line needs experience. It needs to work together. And until that happens, I don't see this offensive line helping Trubisky. And obviously, Trubisky is a mediocre quarterback, right, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So without an offensive line, he looks worse than he already is, right? With an offensive line, I say he looks pretty good. I say he gets more time. He gets more confident. And then he overachieves his expectations and our expectations, right? And that's why he'll become a good quarterback with the offensive line being good as well. But until then, I agree. He's going to get sacked a bunch by all the players Nick just mentioned. And that I think that's a guarantee. So
Not even talking about my secondary either.
what do you need that for? We're just going to run it.
Y'all are going to run the ball?
Just run it.
Bro.
When we have some of the best run defensive linebackers.
No, you're going to have to throw because you're going to be down.
I don't think we can throw.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Roberts, Jerome Baker, Melvin Ingram.
I'm sorry, but Tyreek Hill's speed is just going to burn y'all. You guys have no one who can keep up with him.
But at the same time, who kept up with him last game?
Last week?
Yeah.
I got double team.
He still had 94 yards.
But he did not have a single point. That's the problem.
Touchdowns don't matter though. Like
touchdowns do matter.
If he has
games.
No, if you have as a receiver, if you have more than 70 yards and you don't score a touchdown, to me that's still a good game.
That is a good game for you. But in order to win games, you need points.
Well, they didn't.
I don't care how many yards Tyreek gets. Unless he gets points, they're not winning that game.
They're not going to need points against the Steelers, though, because the Steelers' offense can't score.
They will need points against the Steelers.
No, because Trubisky's not going to lead any touchdown drives. I'm sorry, he's just not.
Yeah. We got Boswell to kick the ball.
Okay, field goals only do so much for you.
That's right. And if Tyreek can't get a single point.
Okay, yeah, there's Jalen Waddle on the other side.
That's what I was trying to bring up. Y'all are going to double team Tyreek just so he doesn't put any points on y'all. And that's going to leave Waddle over there. And then you still got Jasicki, who didn't really get his number called at all last game. He's gonna be chilling over there too. And then Cedric Wilson, I think, is the wide receiver.
Mhm.
He didn't do anything, bro, but he'll be there to make a play.
I mean, you guys really didn't need him to do anything just because Tyreek and Waddle took over.
So here's the thing for me. Y'all scored 20 points in the last game with Tyreek not getting a single point. Right? I believe that will happen again if Tyreek does not get a single point. The Steelers also scored 20 points. I will not count that extra field goal in overtime. I would just say in regulation, they did score 20 points, just like the Dolphins.
That was mainly the defense, though, not the offense.
Right. We did lose TJ Watt, but our defense is very secure still.
I don't think you guys can score 20 points solely relying on the defense again.
I believe our offense will get a little bit better, but at the same time, our defense will still be there. And we'll also have a couple games without TJ. We'll get accustomed to playing without TJ. And that defense will be secure. And we're going to do exactly what we did in week 1.
That's fair. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it's week 1, so got a lot of time to see what happens.
Yep. Well, sorry, I left you guys on a cliffhanger once again. But as I was saying before, I wanted to switch topics, see what Nick wanted to do, and see what he thought about his Dolphins this week, right? Or last week, actually, against the Patriots, instead of looking into the future, see how they did in the last week. So how did they do?
Last week?
Yeah, against the Patriots.
They did very well.
Okay.
Offense was a little lackluster, I would say. Only 1 touchdown thrown, but a lot of field goals. So I can't complain too much. They did what they had to do to win the game. Personally, I would have liked to seen Tua throw the ball to more people than just Tua and Waddle, or to Tyreek and Waddle.
Yep.
But I could see where he's coming from, having those 2 star-studded guys. But in the future, to beat good teams like the Bills, he's gonna have to be able to throw the ball to more people. And we need the defense to stay on what they were on as well.
I will also say that Tua's going to have to throw deep eventually as well to beat teams like the Bills.
I don't know about that one. I don't know if I want to chucking it deep like that.
You'd rather have them. I feel like the Bills defense could contain like slant routes like the Patriots couldn't.
Maybe, but that's when you have people like Mike Gesicki going out there running around where he could catch the ball. Maybe Cedric Wilson, he gets more catches. But yeah, I just need him to pass to more people, and we'll get more people involved. And then hopefully a run game can develop as well.
Yeah, that run game was a little weak.
But
do you think that was because of the O-line or what?
I think that it was more of the Patriots defense.
They're more stout up front.
Yeah, I think they had a good front 7 that could contain the run, but they couldn't really do anything in their secondary to contain the pass.
That's fair.
But we're gonna need a run game to develop as well if we want to find success.
Right, because then you could go off play action and Tyreek can do his thing.
Yeah.
What do you got to say, Gio?
I would have to agree, right? Obviously, he targeted those 2 guys a lot. Needs more options out there. The running game obviously needs to improve. That defense, though, I was very shocked. Yes, I thought it was going to be good. Yes, you hyped them up a lot to make me believe they were going to be good. But they really blew off my expectations, right? They're insanely good. They're top 5 defense in the league, top 4 defense in the league, possibly, maybe even top 3. Really depends on how, your argument goes for them. I got Steelers, you got the Dolphins, and then it's tough between, the number 3 spot. You can either pick the Chargers if you want to. You can obviously pick Tampa Bay, really, depending on how you see Tampa Bay playing. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Definitely better than the Steelers defense, though.
you know, I'm thinking, do you really think the Steelers defense could be like a generational like defense? When
I think
healthy?
Sorry, what?
Like when healthy, right? With TJ, with all them healthy, could they become like, are they a generational type defense?
They
Obviously,
are a very, 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 very good defense. Like one of the best in the league. I personally have them third overall
really.
after the Chargers and Miami's. So
But I'm saying just the defense alone. Obviously, the offense contributes to that, and the offense isn't that up to par with the defense. But I really think this defense is generational just because of how well they are when they are healthy, when they're not gassed, right? Even when they are gassed, they're playing efficient, they're playing really well compared to most defenses who are gassed. So I don't know, it's tough for me to say, but obviously because I'm biased, but I really think they could be a generational type defense.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are generational. Talent-wise, definitely generational.
Right.
They're after these players walk away, whenever that may be, you guys have a bunch of years before that happens, but after these players walk away, it's definitely going to take a long time for you guys to replace this type of talent.
Right. But
oh, go ahead.
did you have something to say to finish it off?
No, go ahead.
So since Nick just talked about his Dolphins, right? Let's move on to what do you think was the most surprising game you watched this past Sunday or Monday?
Oh, well, if you're going to say Monday, it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos game.
Really?
I fully expected the Denver Broncos to come out and blow out the Seahawks. I did not expect Geno Smith to perform as well as he did. Kudos to him for showing up and performing as an NFL player should. He proved why he won that starting job, and he proved why he deserved that starting job over Drew Lock. So that game definitely surprised me the most. I did not expect the Seahawks to win, and I did not expect Geno Smith to look as good as he did.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that too. I think they were the most surprising team, just because no one expected the QB play to be as good as Geno played. I'd also have to give credit to the Steelers though as well, because to do that to the Bengals was kind of shocking to me. I thought they were just going to run through them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll also say the Seahawks defense also surprised me. I did not expect that defense to be that good.
True.
So for me, it has to be between the game you guys just mentioned or the Eagles and the Lions. I was very shocked in how the Lions performed. I thought they made some nice moves, in their draft class this year. Nice moves in the offseason. But really, I didn't expect them to go ahead and score 35 points against Philadelphia, right? But at the same time, Geno Smith did show out, right? And since Geno played well, right, what we all thought he should have played like on the Jets, Geno Smith proved himself in the league. He's now a starter in the league. I think with more consistency, right? He'll become kind of like a household name, right? Because Seattle is so surprising. Just like we mentioned, if Seattle goes heads and possibly wins the division, let alone a playoff berth, right? Geno Smith will become the face of that franchise, at least for a couple of years. And it's just shocking to me because, like you guys said, that defense was amazing. All those players played great last night. I really think it was more the Broncos played awful, right? Compared to the Seahawks played amazing. Just because Russ is in a new offense, right? He had to talk to every single player, every single play, and that just took some time. The whole line was burning, right, when he was making those moves, and obviously there was some calls that we believe were questionable, especially late in the game with a 62-yard field goal attempt. Not having trust in Russ really shows me that that team has a long way to go, but they'll get there. So we just got to wait and see later in the season, but great win for Seattle.
For sure. Like Gino said, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. So he's going to prove him wrong.
Facts.
You guys want to transition to the NBA real quick before wrapping up?
I'd be down.
So where was Kyle Lowry this weekend?
So yeah, we saw the WNBA finals. I don't know who won. Sorry, but I do know my boy Kyle Lowry showed up there. You know, I'm expecting a big season from him and the Miami Heat team. I expect Miami to run it up to the finals this year. Mainly due to the fact that Kyle Lowry will take another step, knowing the offense, knowing the game, the Heat culture. I also expect Victor Oladipo to have a bigger role, getting more confidence back after the injuries. So yeah, I don't see anyone stopping Miami on their way to the finals.
That's all from seeing Kyle Lowry at a WNBA finals game. That's
And
bold.
the Aces won that game as well.
Boom. And we have the results.
But speaking of the real NBA, the Suns owner has been suspended a year and fined $10 million for workplace misconduct. He was stated to threaten and yell at employees for multiple years. Who knows how long this has been going on? Those inside the NBA and the organization believe that he should have been disciplined farther and he shouldn't have a job anymore. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
He's on a winning team now, a franchise that has light. That's the only reason I think he still has a job. I think if he was in Sacramento, he would have just been kicked out entirely. But since the Suns are good, I think that's the only reason he's still playing, or he's still
The
in
owner.
the organization.
Yeah, that's fair. I can definitely see that. Gio.
I would have to agree, right? Him as an owner really puts the Suns in a marketable position, right? Obviously, since they were so bad at certain points in his tenure as the owner, right? I really think that when they're good, it helps the team in a profit aspect and as the league, right? In a profit aspect as well, just because he understands that it is a business, right? And how to market his team. And I believe that after this year is over, he's just going to go back to business, right? And just like Nick said, since the Suns are so good, right, so profitable now, especially with their throwback jerseys, with Charles Barkley throwback jerseys, you know, Steve Nash throwback jerseys, you see those all the time. And you also got CP3, Devin Booker, all those guys on that team as well, you know, with their merchandise and all that. So it's just tough to see him go, I would say. So that's why they kept him. They saw more possibilities with him on the team still rather than off the team. So
That's fair. I'll put it this way. Do you think he should have got in farther disciplined? Do you think he should still have a job? Because to me, workplace misconduct is pretty unacceptable. And if it's like
but
threatening
what did he do?
he was just yelling at employees and threatening them. But like if it's like I'm just saying if it's threatening like the chances that your team wins, then I wouldn't want him there.
So what is he doing as like yelling at? Is he yelling at the players? Is he yelling at who is he yelling at?
I didn't see the specific details. It's just Woj said that it's been reported that he yells at and threatens employees.
threatening them with their jobs.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Either he wants more out of his workers, right? And he's trying to make it into a productive aspect, like how you could possibly yell or get agitated, right? And then the worker produces more, right? And they will help you and your business, or it works the other way around, right? And they produce less. So it really is, it depends on how he was coming at it. If he was trying to get more productivity out of his workers, then obviously I think it really depends on the disciplinary actions. I really don't think it's that much. But obviously, if he's trying to put his workers down over and over and over again instead of having them work productively and boosting his workers up most of the time instead of yelling at them most of the time, then obviously I think there should be more disciplinary actions needed and he should lose his job. But I guess we won't really know.
Yeah.
I also agree that there should be more disciplinary actions, only just because I understand what Gio's saying with trying to get more production out of your people. Because like you can see a head coach yelling at his players,
Right.
but that's also a head coach and players playing a game. When you're in a workplace and you're yelling at people to be better and like threatening them with certain things, that just doesn't want to make you work for them anymore.
Right.
So I see it having like a worse off effect. I think him being head honcho of the team is the only reason he can be doing that and saying things like that. Otherwise, he would have been fired time ago.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just because of the reputation he has, given that he's the owner of the Suns, and now they got CP3, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and they were 2 games away from a championship, so they don't want to blow it all up and have to start over.
Yep. Crazy.
Any final thoughts, Gio?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. The whole, threatening thing, right? I think it depends on what he's threatening. If it's their job, obviously that's terrible. But if it's something like a break, if you're not working or something like that, I can see why he would threaten a break, because you are not being productive while you're supposed to be working. But at the same time, we really don't know what happened, right? Or what happens behind the scenes. So can probably just hope for the best, or see it as the worst outcome, right? And that's why he got a year. So
Yeah, I agree. You got a segment, Gio?
yeah, so Steph Curry, right, we all know him, best 3-point shooter of all time, best shooter of all time, is signed with Under Armour, as we all know. I believe he has his 10th signature shoe coming out. And so with Under Armour, he had his entire brand rebranded, I believe, two years ago, right, when he branched off as the Steph Curry brand. And right now, I believe he just signed a lifetime contract, or he's going to sign a lifetime contract worth up to $1 billion with Under Armour. So that, is pretty remarkable. Only a couple of players have done that. I believe LeBron James and Michael Jordan are the only other players with a shoe organization that have ever did a lifetime contract. So it's great to see that, and hopefully we get to see more players do that in the future.
Yeah, that's cool. In the video game world, obviously NBA 2K23 dropped this past Friday. I really like the game. I think they definitely improved the game to where the buyers of the game will enjoy it more than they had previous 2Ks. The graphics are a lot better. The only thing that I will nitpick on is they shouldn't have changed the shot meter, and they need to stop changing it every year. I'm not a big fan of the shot meter so far, but that's just because I'm still getting used to it. Obviously, once you get used to it, it's easier, but I would just prefer them to keep the same shot meter every year, just so you don't have to adjust every game.
For music, I didn't pick out a song to shout out, but I just wanted to say RIP to R&B Rock. he got killed I think it was last night. So rest in peace to him. Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you want to, you can drop a like on the video. If you have a comment to say, or you want to let us know something or have a question, you can leave a comment. But if you're really feeling generous, you can drop a GL.
Hey, make sure you guys subscribe. Also, if you guys missed anything in this podcast, there will be a link in the description for our Clips YouTube channel. So any clip that we thought was very important, or we'll have some clips that maybe if you guys missed in podcast or didn't quite understand, want to rewatch it, there will be the link in the description. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.